Hello and welcome to Davo DIY. We've got a fun project today. We're working on a vintage gas pump that we're going to use as a charging stand for an electric car. I think it's kind of a clever idea, and I also wanted to do it to honor my grandfather. A vintage gas pump is the kind of thing that I think of when I remember the garage that he used to own. Let's show you how we did it. This is Davo DIY. I'm Davo, and this is the electric gas pump project. What really sells the look on this are some authentic recreation parts. I can remember the red Pegasus from the garage at the mobile station. This faceplate kind of dictates the dimensions. It's 15 3/8 wide, 12 inches tall. We need a window that it will sit in, so we will need 5 1x3s cut to 15 3/8. The 1x3s for the 4 corners need to be 58.5 inches tall, 4 of those. The left and right sides of this cabinet, they're going to connect the front and back here, are just 12 inches wide, so we need 4 1x3s 12 inches wide. And then we're going to make some plywood panels to fill in what's left here. So on the sides we need 2 panels, 12 inches wide, 53.5 inches tall. And what's left on the front panel is 15 3/8 wide, 39 inches tall. We have some 2-inch square oak left over. We're going to use that to kind of make a ring to put on the top, and again have hardwood on the top edges as well. We'll make a panel for the middle. We'll show you that in a few minutes. This is a sheet of insulation from a Panther, you might know. We actually don't have a table saw, so what we do is just put down this sheet of insulation. We can lay our sheet goods on top of it and actually break it down and make our cuts into the sizes we need. The only question now is which saw to use. I love using that saw. It gives you clean, accurate cuts, and it takes up hardly any space in the garage, which is perfect for me. I'm not sponsored by Craig or anything like that. I just love the product, love how it works. You know, not that I don't want to be sponsored by Craig. I mean, come on guys, we live in the same town. Craig. We need 2 panels that are 12 by 53.5. So we're going to start out marking the 53.5. Not with this, we aren't. Make sure we're 53.5, perfect. Measure twice, cut once. And 12 inches wide here. Need it 15 3/8. On the miter saw, we're going to measure out 15 3/8 and put the stop block right there. So we need 5 of those. You can see what we're doing here is just marking off where we're going to put some pocket holes. The glue is really what's holding this together, but what's great about pocket holes, it just allows us to pull it tight all the way along for each of the joints and really get a good solid connection. So here we are, all pocket holed up, ready to go. You can see we're using some 1 1/4 inch screws, and by the time we're done with all this, we probably do have 100. The idea again here is we're gonna glue up as we go. We're just gonna glue up the one joint or the 2 joints that we're doing. We're going to use some clamping pressure to make sure we're holding it tight and it's exactly where we want it. And then again, once the screws are driven and they're in there tight, we can take the clamp off. We can go ahead, line up the next ones and clamp that and keep on going. Bigger panels, bigger clamp, same process. We're lining up the boards for the rear right on top of the front one. Just going to help us keep it square, and as we're clamping down to keep the pressure, we're clamping 2 boards. It'll keep it from tilting at all. We just check it here for square. Looks good. You've seen the 90-degree angle clamp before. We love these things. It allows you to put the panels together and make sure we have a perfect 90-degree angle. Again, get them lined up first dry, run some glue up and down the joint, and then slide it into place and clamp it down. Now that we've flipped it back over, we're putting the top on the piece. Then we'll switch the clamps over the back. Again, the screws are holding the front now, so we clamp the back down, screw in that, good to go. Oh my God. That was a big night. I am worn out. My fitness level is leaving something to be desired. My wife tells me I need to work on that. I've lately, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I skip leg day. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I skip arms and cardio. But in spite of that, I am worn out. Going to bed. So it's time for the router. Here we are hitting all of these edges. We're rounding over with a 1/2-inch round over bit. I suppose you could round over plywood and maybe put some putty in there where you get the voids and things from the layers of the plywood, but it's probably not going to be perfect, and you'll have a couple issues there. Like I said, we had some scrap wood around, so we really just wanted hardwood at each of the edges. This is why, this is the moment, we're rounding it all over. We'll round over all these edges, sand them just a little bit further to make sure we've got everything smoothed out, and we'll be good to go. Did I get any on me? Now we're going to create 2 side panels to give a little extra width to this and make it look more like the authentic pump that we're trying to recreate here. Part of the reason for the end caps is I don't like the look of seeing that just bare. It kind of breaks the illusion of the gas nozzle going into the machine. So when we put these on, that's going to cover it up. That'll be concealed at least up to here. So just going to give us a little better look. I've drawn this line all the way around to mark where this is. So I'm going to take this off, drill some holes through the piece on this that way, so that when we put this back on and glue it, we can see those holes from the other side and come back with pilot holes and screws. Make sure we hit this and don't break the face of the wood. We hope. It's almost a shame to paint this thing. It looks so good in the wood. So this is the shield, centered and square to the piece. I'm just gonna make marks, line up a straight edge on the corners. Same on the back. There she is. So this is the hardware for the globe. Time to get a coat of primer on this and call it a night. to finish this up. By the way, I would like to publicly apologize to Peter McKinnon for my coffee montage. Love your stuff, brother. Just limited tools, you know, limited tools. This is what we're using for lighting. This is over 16 feet of LED strip light. We're going to run this through the inside of the cabinet in the back and up through the globe. You can see the tape has the LEDs on one side and just some peel-off stick tape on the other. Run it wherever you need it to go. Now it's time to put on all the jewelry. You can see the connector for the hose right here. The authentic plate that was on the side of these machines when they were real back in the day. And the Pegasus for the front. I love the shield. This red and the red of that Pegasus just looks awesome. We'll mount the bracket for the globe on the top. You can see here we're dropping the tape down for the rest of the lights to go through and light the inside of the cabinet. You can make this as fancy as you want inside, do shelves or something like that. I decided to store some long pipe clamps in here, so I'm just leaving it really raw, as you can see. I made a little shelf and just painted it red where it would be exposed. There's also a piece of plexiglass here we screwed in to create the window. And this is the faceplate converted to electric. I just took a piece of plywood and painted it white. That gives a white background to these open windows. Then we can put the black numbers wherever we want and simulate the counters. I also wanted this plate to be removable. It's just open above so the light can shine through and illuminate the clock face. It's really simple. We've just got a stop block on the right. The piece on the left just clicks into place and the tension of the faceplate is pushing back and holding it. I absolutely love the way this came out. This is why I love woodworking. You come up with an idea and before long, there it is. My plan was to surprise my dad with this. I was going to walk him into the garage to see the new car and he'd happen to stumble across a wooden gas pump that I was using as a charging stand for it. Even planned on having a little plaque on it to honor his dad. Unfortunately, my dad passed away, so he never got to see this. He would have thought this was pretty cool, though. We moved my mom out of the house and into a new place, and in the process of sorting through things, my sister found this. This is the April 22nd, 1982 edition of the Caledonia Argus, my dad's hometown newspaper. It has an article about my grandfather retiring and taking up a new hobby, woodworking. What? I mean, we have a lot of things from my grandfather. Candlestick holders, camp chairs, cribbage boards, and a magic chair that turns into a step stool. I always thought this was stuff he was doing his whole life. It turns out it's a skill he got late in life when he had a life change. It's really the same story for me. It's amazing that we have these treasured items. They're so well done. I always thought it came from a lifetime of knowledge. And that's the whole point of this and the channel. Beginners can make great stuff. Life is short. It's never too late to start something new and add some joy in your life, no matter what that is. Could be woodworking, could be something really crazy out of your comfort zone, like starting a YouTube channel, if you're one of those people. You just need the will to do it and get going, even if you have no experience. That's where everybody starts. I did end up having that tribute plaque made. Unfortunately, there's 2 names on it instead of 1. I use this every day, and every time I see it, it reminds me of my family and everything that they've done for me, and that's a good thing. Miss you, Dad.